Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Sparkly here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 2, Part 7 of What If Izuku Was Majin? I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. A week passed by after the sports festival ended, and everything seemed to return to normal. Well, everyone except Ida and his brother. The news got out saying how Ida's brother was attacked by the villain, Stain, and was injured badly. Izuku and his friends could talk with Ida, and he simply stated that his brother was doing better, and that they shouldn't worry about him. But Izuku knew what Ida was feeling, and what he was thinking of doing. However, that was not the only thing that got people's attention. Word got around saying that there were two individuals spying on a young blonde woman and a bald man. They couldn't get a clear image of the two, but their outline was really all they could get of them. One of them seemed to be built almost like All Might, and had the same height with hair sticking up, while the other was quite tall, with a bug-like appearance. This not only brought fear to the couple that was being watched, but the fear that there were villains working together to ambush them. Nobody understood why they were targeting the couple, but they didn't simply want to play off the attack after the USJ incident. Whenever the students returned to their classrooms, they discussed how the festival helped them become popular and noticeable. A healed Aizawa walked into the room and said that the sports festival was over now, and that everyone needed to get serious about everything that would come. The students readied themselves for what he was about to say. Aizawa stated that they were not only going to pick hero names, but they were also going to pick internships. The class cheered out in excitement as Aizawa activated his quirk, calming them down. He went on that they needed to choose a hero name to get experience with other pros at work. Midnight came walking into the room, explaining that they should be careful with their hero names. Most students chose interesting and unique names for themselves, with some keeping their names. Izuku decided to choose the name Deku as his hero name, and Mina chose Alien Queen. But that was turned down by Midnight, where Mina chose Pinky for her hero name. Once everyone chose their hero name, Aizawa handed everyone a sheet with a list of pro heroes that accepted internships, and stated that they had 2 days to choose. It went pretty normal for the rest of the day until the end of the day. Izuku and Mina were about to leave the room before All Might slid open the door and slid across the floor. They noticed that he was sweating buckets and was trying to get the words out of him.
Young Mina, young Izuku, would the two of you follow me, please?
All Might nervously asked. Izuku and Mina looked at each other and wondered why All Might was shaking in his boots. The only way they would know was to follow him and see what he had to say. As they walked, Izuku still couldn't get over the fact that his body healed Mina's broken bones with no scars and restored All Might back to his prime form. It seemed all too surreal for him, and he thought he was dreaming of seeing All Might back in his prime. Mina chopped him on the head to bring him back to reality, with Izuku giving her a look of dissatisfaction. All Might took them to the end of the hallway to discuss what All Might had to say.
Young Mina, I know that you didn't get any offers from other pro heroes, but there was one that I just received, and I know who sent it personally.
All Might said as he choked up at almost every word and stopped his shaking legs. Now, Izuku and Mina were starting to get nervous. Who exactly could make the #1 hero this scared? All Might cleared his throat as he revealed who wanted to see her. His name was Gran Torino, and he used to work here in UA for a year before leaving. He went on saying that Gran Torino wanted to see the new user of One For All and see their progress. Mina worried about this guy. If he could make All Might this afraid, then she would be terrified of him. Yet, Mina accepted to live up to be All Might's successor. All Might turned his head towards Izuku and proceeded to speak.
Young Midoriya, I know that you received a lot of offers from pros, and you probably have someone in mind that you want to intern with. But if you want to go with young Mina to train with Gran Torino,
All Might stated. Izuku held his chin and thought for a few seconds. He did have a few places where he wanted to intern, but he wasn't sure if any of them could help him as a whole. Interning with Vomi wouldn't be much help, due to her already knowing a lot and helping him out.
I want to go with Mina,
Izuku stated. All Might asked Izuku for his reason for going with Mina to see Gran Torino. Izuku smiled and replied,
I'm curious to see this Gran Torino, and I didn't know whom to choose for my internship. Alright, I'll tell them that the both of you are coming,
All Might chuckled. Izuku and Mina began to walk away to go home, but stopped whenever All Might called out.
Oh, young Midoriya.
The two turned around to see All Might smiling and giving a thumbs up to Izuku.
Thank you.
Izuku smiled as he gave thumbs up to All Might, as Izuku and Mina made their way home. 2 days later, at the train station, the students gathered in a crowd with Aizawa telling them how to behave and how to act whenever they met the pros. Once he finished, the students made their way to their respective trains. Izuku runs up to Ida, who still seemed out of it. and tells Ida that he hopes to see him soon and that he shouldn't do anything reckless. Ida simply chuckled, saying that he didn't do anything reckless as he made his way to his train. Izuku noticed Ida's energy was getting darker as Ida got onto his train and took off. He worried that Ida would do something rash against Stain, especially with those other villains. Izuku and Mina made their way to the location that Gran Torino sent them and questioned each other if this was the correct location. The building looked old and broken down. As they were about to call All Might, Mina noticed that the figure of Nana appeared out of thin air and made her way up to the door.
"It's been a long time, friend,"
Nana said as she placed her hand on the building. Izuku started to call up All Might as Mina began to walk up the steps. Izuku called Mina to ask if she was sure this was the right building. Mina turned around with a smile on her face and spoke. "The user said it's been a long time, so I think we have the right location," Mina said as she knocked on the door with Izuku coming up the stairs. Mina knocked on the door and waited for a response, but nothing happened. Izuku knocked on it, and nothing happened. They grabbed the handle of the door and noticed that it was unlocked. They were confused why it was unlocked, but continued on anyway. On the inside, the lights were off and the room seemed to be filled with furniture. They called out for Gran Torino, and still no response from him. Finally, they looked down to see an old man lying on the ground, surrounded by blood and guts.
"He's dead!"
Izuku and Mina screamed out.
"No, I'm not."
Gran Torino smiled as he put his head up. Izuku and Mina screamed again as Gran Torino picked himself up and wiped off the sausages he fell on. Gran Torino asked who the two were, and each gave them their names, only for him to ask who they were again. Izuku and Mina gave each other a "is this the guy?" look and sighed at the fact that All Might made him out to be a terrifying, strict teacher, not a forgetful small one. Then they heard their hero suits open up, turning around to see Gran Torino looking and commenting that they should put them on and use their quirks against him, to see where Mina stands in the output of One for All, and Izuku's power too. This took the two by surprise, and he wanted them to attack him for no reason. Mina reached down to grab her hero cases and spoke to the confused Gran Torino. "I'm sorry. Even if you're All Might's teacher, I'm afraid of hurting an old teacher like you," Mina stated. That word seemed to set something off in the old man. He chuckled at the comment of being called old. "Old, huh?" Gran Torino asked himself. Gran Torino bent his knees before disappearing before their eyes. First, Izuku and Mina were stunned that he disappeared quickly and left a trail of smoke behind him. Next, they noticed that he kept bouncing around the room at high speeds, finally stopping above the doorway with a serious grin.
"How's that for old, you whippersnapper? Now, why don't you show me why Toshinori chose you to be his successor?"
Izuku and Mina grabbed their respective cases and quickly changed into them. Their costumes were the same, the only difference being that their bright colors changed into a darker tone. Gran Torino cleared his throat, grabbing the two's attention.
"Well, what are you two waiting for? Hit me or I'll hit you!"
Gran Torino screamed out. Izuku and Mina stared at each other, wondering if this was something they wanted to do. Gran Torino sighed as he activated his quirk and charged at Mina with full force.
"I guess I'll hit you first then,"
said Gran Torino. Mina put her hands in front of her as quickly as possible, but that didn't help much. Gran Torino kicked Mina in the chest and sent her flying a bit before she grabbed her ground and readied One for All on her arm. However, she was getting hit from a different angle and couldn't concentrate on using One for All. Whenever she got an opening and was about to flick her fingers at Gran Torino, he zipped behind her, grabbing her arms and pushing her down into the ground as she fired One for All at the ceiling. Gran Torino stated that she still had a long way to go before completely controlling OFA and making it her own. As Gran Torino was getting up from Mina, an extended pink arm came rocketing behind him at a high speed and was about to contact him. Gran Torino quickly dodges the incoming attack by just a hair, only for an energy blast to hit him in the face and send him back into the wall. Izuku immediately ran up to him to ensure he was okay, but Izuku was met with a whack in the face by a foot and loud laughter. A few days went by for the three, and nothing happened. Gran Torino only beat them up on day one and decided to relax after that. Mina asked if he knew anything about One for All and how to control it without damaging her body, with Gran Torino replying, he can't help her with that, and she is the only one who can think of using it properly. Izuku talked with Gran Torino to see if there was anything that he could teach him, and Gran Torino simply replied that there was nothing that he could teach him. Torino went out of the building as Izuku and Mina discussed with each other about him and One for All. On the second day, everything seemed to be calm. Gran Torino completely forgot not only their names, but their conversation and the brawl they had yesterday. Gran Torino said his microwave was destroyed for no reason as the two gave him a straight face. They heated some pastries only for them to be frozen on the inside. Gran Torino yelled at the two for frozen pastries as something clicked in Izuku's head. He pointed out that Mina was the pastry, confusing both Mina and Gran Torino. Izuku went on and on about how the microwave is one for all and that it wasn't spread evenly throughout her body. Mina looked down at her body and concentrated hard enough to spread throughout her body and succeeded in doing it. Gran Torino complimented him for thinking in a weird way of channeling one for all for her. Throughout the day, Mina and Gran Torino jumped around inside of the building, while Izuku went from watching them fight to meditating. On the third day, Gran Torino finally stated that the three of them were going on patrol. Gran Torino stated that he thinks they are ready for the real thing now. Izuku and Mina smiled as they followed him to the train station, a city filled with crime. Elsewhere, Jero was busy combining the Buu cells with his bug son. Yet, he didn't seem to be focusing on it. Something else was on his mind. He was thinking back to his time with Bomi and his son. He stopped typing before a ring went off on the screen. Jero clicked on it as it showed 16 with Tomura and Saru Nomus. "Dr. Jero," 16 replied. "Yes, 16?" Jero asked. "Everything here is quiet and the couple is out now. Should I tell Cell, Tomura, and Nomus to begin the plan?" 16 asked the doctor. Jero clicked a few things on the computer as several live videos showed multiple angles from heroes to villains, but mostly the couple that was walking around on the streets with other heroes behind them and in front of them. A smile formed on the doctor's face as the live feed of cells sang through the alleyway towards the couple. "Yes, 16, it's time," Jero smiled. "Hello, sister," Cell happily said as he neared the end of the alleyway as multiple explosions went off in the background. The attack on the city has begun. Thank you all for indulging yourself in this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestial have it covered. We the Celestial's My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check them out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of the We the Celestials team, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for new members to join us. Well, that's it for today's video. So thank you all so much for watching.